Ooh, right on the beat. I hit them things. We are going live now. We are here. And now that the music is down low, we can get on with the show. That's right. Welcome to the Positively Awesome Wrestling Podcast. It is yours truly, Jimmy Baby. And I am joined, as always, by the man to the right of me, Albert. Albert, how the heck have you been? Minus today and yesterday. And how have you been enjoying your wrestling?
No, hey, listen, I've been enjoying my wrestling very, very, very much. I've been very, very happy with a lot of the stuff WWE has been doing. Been a very set of entertaining, times with Survivor Series and with the Raw post Survivor Series. Some really, really good stuff going on there. Very, very happy about the way my wrestling's been for over the past couple of days.
We got Harry already in the chat. What is up, Harry? Thank you for joining us, buddy. Thank you for joining us. Even though you're doing something with these rankings, man. I know you are. There's no way Daddy Dominator should be that far behind. I'm gonna figure this out, and I'm gonna end up winning in the end. But thank you for joining. Here's Harry. I know I said this at the Positively Awesome Wrestling Show, but I think we're gonna get off on a little. I don't want to say negative, but I did want to start off with a certain piece of story, I guess, that came out last night. It's been brewing for a little bit, and it's just kind of been hidden. But then last night it kind of showed itself, and then this morning when I woke up, it was blown up. I just chuckled so hard about it, and I am referring obviously to the only man that could bring this much drama to the world of wrestling, CM Punk.
No way,
because. I want your take on this first before I say something, because I like the full circle that's happened here. I don't know if you've seen it, but I do love the full circle that's happened here.
So why don't we reiterate what happened here real quick?
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm saying you can probably sum it up a lot better than I can.
Okay. So, what is it? Ryan
Nemeth, yeah.
Dolph Ziggler Jr. He tries to wrestle like Dolph. He tries to do comedy like Dolph. He's literally riding on this brother's coattails. And you know what? Do it, man. Go for it. It's all good. And he's an actor too, and that's something Dolph doesn't do. So good on him.
Yeah.
And so he made a tweet when CM Punk got injured the second time in AEW and said, literally the softest man alive. And then CM Punk confronted him backstage. And I know this is going to suck for you here, Courtney, but you're going to have to hear it because I'm not a fan of Ryan right now. He got confronted backstage, and then he went and told that CM Punk was being mean to him. And then now a lawsuit has been filed, or I don't know if it's been. No, I think it's been in the works for a minute, because I saw a clip of him from 6 months ago where he was talking. He can't say much about things because of the lawsuit. And then today or last night, it came out that it was because he didn't like that he felt like he was, imagine this, a scapegoat almost for CM Punk's firing. He felt like he was bullied and that nobody did anything about it. And he's victim. He's the victim in this scenario. And I think that pretty much sums it up. But again, I have more to say. This kind of my opinion and that. So before I do that, I'll let you go if there's anything about this that piques your interest to speak on.
Here's the thing. I think that no matter where anybody goes, you're going to have an issue with somebody who you work with. I just think that that's an unavoidable situation. I just don't think that there are. Yeah, look, I love my job. There are people I dislike working with. Am I professional with them? Absolutely. Because I'm in a professional setting and I try to do my best to be as diplomatic as I possibly can. But on the inside, I'm counting down the seconds in my mind to get this conversation to end so I can extricate myself from this situation so I don't have to be nice anymore to this person. There are just going to be people who are going to rub you the wrong way. It is what it is.
Yeah. I've had 10 jobs, roughly 10 jobs off the top of my head. And only one of those jobs is where I had there was no issues with anybody. The other 9, there was issues with at least 2, maybe even multiple. but one job out of 10 where it was like perfect, where I got along with everybody and it was all good. And that's a unicorn as far as I'm concerned. But sorry, I wanted to get that in there on
it. That's just naturally the way, the way of life, right? There's no way around that. That's just, it is what it is. I think that Punk probably didn't get along with Ryan. I probably think that maybe he could have been, kind of a dick to him, because Punk's been known to kind of be dicks to people at points, but I think that, that if you're that other person, you just got to chalk it up to, all right, he's old and ornery and he's just going to, he's going to be, he's going to take it out on people. I guess I'm just not one of his favorites. All right, I'm going to do what I can to just avoid this man. Going online and then saying something like that, you're welcoming someone to get into your face. You're antagonizing somebody. And if you were just saying it to get noticed, to try to get on TV, fine. But own up to it and say, hey, dude, my bad. I was trying to, I wanted to get something over on your name because, they're not booking me. And if I say some shit about you, someone's going to take notice, right? And then that's it. Let it be, If you can't take the heat, don't make a comment like that.
Like I always say, if you don't want the smoke, don't start the fire.
Right, there you go. They're perfect.
So you're probably not going to like what I'm about to start off with this, but I just want to say this is just one more issue caused in the cycle that was all started by Hangman Page. Because, and you'll be with me once I get there, but when Hangman Page did what he did, and Punk, what did he do immediately after that?
He went into the back and confronted him.
No, he went to Tony Khan.
I'm sorry. Right. Yes.
Yeah. And he said, you need to handle that because you're not going to like the way I do. And they didn't do anything about it. So Punk went to management because there was an issue with another person and they did nothing about it. And then now we fast forward to this scenario where, like you said, I believe 1000% Ryan Nemeth was going into business for himself and trying to get over off Punk's name because he's the biggest star in the company.
Right.
And he said later on, he goes, it was a work. I was in character. I wasn't saying it to be serious, which I don't buy, because he also did a comedy routine in which he made multiple jokes about it and doubled down on all of it. And he's also one of the Bucks running mates when he was in AEW. And so he goes to AEW management because Punk called him, said, hey, you got a problem with me? Because that's the kind of person he is. He's a man who stands on business. If you whoop his ass, he'll take it, but he's going to stand on business every single time. And he said, hey, we got a problem. You want to step outside and handle this? And he said, oh no. And then he ran to management to say, you need to handle this. And management didn't handle it. The full circle there is absolutely hilarious because had it been taken care of when Punk said something the first time, man, we'd be having a completely different conversations about wrestling right now.
Yeah.
Like completely different conversations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also think that it's absolutely, it's clearly obvious who it was that did this, but to me it is, at least. I might be wrong. Got them goggles on, but I think it's absolutely crazy that people got into his ear and said to go out and start running your mouth and run him into the ground. They're poking the bear. I'll flat out say, I believe 100% it was the Bucks. The ones that did the little victory lap after Punk got fired. They were trying to poke the bear to get his ass out of there because they didn't like how things went. They didn't like how things got handled. And I just think it's hilarious, the full circle. And I do find it hilarious that people are still kind of in that zone of like, oh, Punk's in the wrong here. Punk did some things wrong. Yes, 100%. But this story kind of just adds to the, man, there were people that were really trying to get him out of there. Because Ryan, even in the little report thing that I saw from SAP, said his issue isn't necessarily with Punk. It was that AEW didn't do anything.
Right.
And then made him feel like he was the reason they had to fire Punk, which is a stretch in my opinion, but that's his prerogative. He knows more than I do. I'm just going off information I've seen him and given. But yeah, I think it's all hilarious. I think, in my opinion, this makes Punk look better because of that issue where they told him to go out there and run him down.
Right.
Because that's horrible, that you're literally trying to cause more drama when you do stuff like that.
And not only that, this is just once again showing the dysfunction of AEW management. Like, there is an obvious issue with AEW management.
Say that.
You know what? Obviously not. Like, you're not allowed to. You know, Tony Khan is, you know, the greatest person in the history of the world, and you can't say anything wrong about, you know, or negative about him because it's Tony Khan and it's AEW, and we don't want it to go away. And it's like look, AEW was born out of pro wrestling fans being so angry with what WWE was doing that they were violently, you know, like yelling about every single WWE show. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, calling for Vince's head, calling for people to get fired, calling for the company to go out of business. That's how bad it was. And, you know, AEW was then born out of those fans. And now we fast forwarded, 7 years? And now we're in a position where they're telling their talent, it's like, yo, just like chill and just watch the show and stop, like, you know, like just enjoy it. And it's like, your company was born out of being vocal about not wanting the status quo and wanting something different. Now you're telling everybody, hey, stop talking bad about it. Look, perception is reality, and the perception is that it's a failing business because at this point, 5 years ago, they had 1 million people watching, and now they have 500,000 people watching. And yes, they have a
give or take. I don't necessarily buy that viewer number. I think
neither do I, because I think Nielsen's are bullshit. I do really believe that that's the case. But, you know, and it's an antiquated way of calculating what people are watching.
I just want to let it be. We don't believe that that's the number of people watching. We know more people are watching, but for the argument's sake here, because of the attendance numbers and the dwindling numbers on the ratings, that is something that you can look at and as a metric and say, hey, things are changing and they're declining in a bad way. Right. So that,
and people can sit there and say the quality of the shows right now are better than they ever were. And maybe they are, to an AEW person who has watched them in a vacuum. But the reality is that there are 400,000 people, you know, give or take roughly, you know, whatever that number is, if that's what we're going to go with, that at one point watched you and then stopped. Yeah. And now they're watching you again, and their perception is that it hasn't improved enough to keep them there.
Yeah.
So maybe to you, it's a much better show, and maybe it's a much more complete show, and maybe they're doing all the things that the podcasters are saying, but something's not clicking with the casual audience.
Something's not clicking with the mass.
Yeah, with the mass.
The masses are the thing that matters here. Again, I will never tell anybody that what they're enjoying is wrong. If what you're because again, I enjoyed WCW up until the day it closes doors, and I look back on it now. I'm like, man, was I stupid? But hey, I loved it. I enjoyed it. So I'm not going to call myself stupid because I enjoyed it at the time.
Right.
But to ignore some of the things that are being said as something that is a cause for concern, I'm so torn on this, because normally that would be an issue. But like I said a few weeks ago on Nick's podcast, Wrestling Legion, go check it out, that I think we kind of just need to accept the fact that as long as Tony Khan wants to fund this thing, it's gonna stay around. Yeah, it might lose a TV deal, but he'll find some other way to get it on. I'm surprised he didn't start his own app, to be honest, like WWE did. I'm really kind of shocked that didn't happen.
Yeah,
but he will find a way for it to work as long as he wants to fund it. Because
I think that's the thing. Right now, it can operate less of a loss if he has a TV deal.
Yeah, so, but even then, I mean, he could start to cut losses and all the other things. So, I mean, there's as long as he wants to fund it, as long as he has interest in doing so. And I don't think interest is going anywhere for him. I think he loves it. He truly loves wrestling. He's one of us.
Yeah, exactly. He is.
So as long as he's going to run it that way and he's going to fund it, it's not going to change. If you don't like it, just get used to it or don't watch it. That's my take on it.
Right.
But the complaints that I see, some of them are stupid. I agree. But some of them are legit. Like if you were looking at it and like, hey man, if Tony Khan was cut off tomorrow, he would have to change something drastically and fast because he wouldn't have that backing anymore. And that's kind of, I think, where the argument is. Again, why? That's why I'm so torn on it. Because, again, I like half of what it is. The other half, I think there's some things that need to be changed. But I know it's not going to change. So that's why I think I may have been able to enjoy a little bit more recently. Because I know it's not going anywhere. And
that's a great, but by the way, that's a great thing for the world of professional wrestling.
Yeah. Tony Khan, I've said this. I don't like the way Tony Khan does things. I think he's dumb. I don't think he's a bad guy. And I thank him for what he's done for the wrestling business.
Agreed.
I think there's been people who think that just because I think he's a dumb guy, I don't like him or anything. No, he's a great person. By everything I've seen, he seems to be a great person. I think the way he runs AEW is dumb though. And that's all that is. Thank you, Tony, for what you've done. We did this on the Thankful podcast where I thanked him for this crap. So so I think we can move into the part you wanted to talk to from that. That's a nice little transition. We can knock that out of the way, and then we can start talking about the fun wrestling stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what I wanted to talk about.
Okay. Okay.
Ultimately, I think that. Yeah, I think. Look, at the end of the day, here's the thing. There are a lot of people that want to talk about success, and if you want to talk about success, Eric Bischoff. We were just talking about Eric Bischoff before. Tony Khan is absolutely a success. He has took something from absolutely nothing, and has now gotten a TV deal out of it. To now extend the shelf life of being able to pay a lot more professional wrestlers and people in the professional wrestling industry enough money to feed their families. That is an amazing thing. Anyone who's able to do that is a success in my book. I don't care if AEW lasts, because look, we consider Paul Heyman a success. And ECW lasted for 15 years, I think, total. From
it lasted that long.
And I'm talking about from the inception of maybe Eastern Championship Wrestling, but maybe 8 years. WCW was around in its entirety for about 9 or 10.
Was it 89?
I think 80. 90. Yeah, so 89 to 95. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 89 to what? 02, right?
No, they went to 01.
01. Okay, so 89 to 01. So that's it. That's World Championship Wrestling. It was an NWA before that, and it was JCP before that, or whatever. But World Championship Wrestling, that's how long it lasted. And we consider WCW a rousing success. AEW,
some people don't, and those are the people I don't like because they're just so.
Because you're dumb.
They have the blinders on.
Right. Because you're dumb. Because grand scheme of thing doesn't mean anything.
Bischoff failed. WCW didn't.
and even still, Bischoff didn't fail either.
But that's
you know what I mean? At the end of the day, the reality of the situation is that if Turner didn't, say, hey, we don't want WCW on our television programming, WCW could still be around today. There's a very real chance that it would, you know what I mean? That the TV time never got taken away, Fusion would have bought it out, and maybe Bischoff would have ran it into the ground at that point. But it would have been, To
be fair, Bischoff did play a hand in getting it low, and that's why he got fired initially.
Sure.
So I don't want to gloss over stuff like that, but I think his hands were I think he was a little handcuffed at the time as well. It's such a.
He was, because they told him he couldn't do half the things that made them popular.
Yeah. So, but he should have been evolving though, and I stand.
I agree.
He let Hogan puppeteer him for way too long, and again, problem. But yeah, so. People are crazy.
I know.
I don't think Bischoff has any place in wrestling anymore. I think his ideas and thoughts are outdated 1,000,000%. But the man was a huge success back in the day. People should not ignore that. That's silly AF. But now we can talk about wrestling.
Yay.
The good stuff now. We can talk about the good stuff now. So I'll go first here.
Please.
It is a new day. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it is.
It is. Now, I'm a horrible person for this, but because I had a feeling that Kofi and Xavier were going to turn heel together. I thought they were going to attack Big E because there's no way this wasn't going to pop off without Big E making an appearance. There's no way. And Amanda's daughter is a huge fan of Big E to the point where after Big E got hurt, she would come over every other week. And the first thing she would ask me is Big E back? Loves this man. This is the only male action figure she has is Big E. So when I picked her up Monday, I said, you know what tonight is? She goes, what? I said, it's the New Day 10-year reunion. She goes, Big E? I said, I believe so. And so when it came on, I told her to come in and watch it. And she sat right there next to me, and I made her watch that. And when it was done, she got up and walked to her. I don't think she uttered a word. That segment was brutal in all of the best ways possible. Seeing Big E, like, I felt like I could see it in Big E's face as soon as he came out.
Yeah.
That oh man, he was not ready for what they were about to do. And at the end of the segment, I think it's insanely successful to me, that segment, because one, I legit hate Kofi and Xavier right now. And I love Xavier. I love Xavier. I hate them right now. Big E did an amazing job. I don't think he was really acting. I think he legit was sad that was over, because the article that he posted early in the day was an amazing article. And man, that brought me to tears in itself. And then I don't know if Big E's coming back. And I think that's a very effective part of this segment that nobody's talking about, because everyone's like, oh, he has to come back. What if he doesn't? What if that's literally the last we see of Big E on television programming as far as storylines go? Like, his curtain call was him just getting kicked out of the New Day and walked off into the sunset. Oh, that's hurtful.
That hurts my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it sucked the air out of the room. I was just like, oh. I was hopeful it was all going to be good. But in the back of my head, I was like, they're going to turn on this man. They're going to turn on this man.
When he said that, you know what? I'm going to come out with you guys every week. I'm going to manage you guys. I'm going to be there. I'm going to have your back. I got up out of my seat and I pumped my fist in the air. I was like, Big E's back! Big E's back! This is so good! And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, this would only be a good thing. This could mean that they want him next to the action. They want him close. That means they feel that he's safe enough to be around the ring. That means that maybe, like, if he can get bumped into.
One step closer.
Right. It's you know, and that's exactly where my mind went. I was so happy. And then it ripped my heart out, man.
Hold up. He said, hold up. And it was when he said, Xavier, that's when it really just, my heart sunk.
Yeah.
Just that simple delivery. Xavier, like, little brother. Little brother said, go away. I think what they did was masterful, also in the sense that they didn't even have to get physical with Big E for it to break everyone's heart.
Yeah, it actually... I think that if they would have attacked him, it would have lessened the blow in some sort of weird way. I'm so glad that they let their words hang. I think that it means more, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to physically put you down, because mentally you've already put us down. We don't need you anymore.
Physically, you've already been put down.
Right.
Now we're going to rip your heart out. I did chuckle when I saw Ciampa post that. I remember just saying.
Yeah. A couple of people actually did, which was
the black heart strikes again, man.
Yeah, you know, a couple of people did, and oof.
That's interesting. I think maybe Big E finds a new team to feud with.
That would be great.
Hey, okay. So great little segue here that you created for us, Harry. If you were to take a tag team for Big E to handpick to feud with the New Day, who would you pick?
Interesting. I haven't thought about this. I don't know.
I'll go ahead and say I think Axiom and Nathan Frazier would be a good one. Those dudes reek of like positive energy. It'd be a good way to introduce them, get them involved in something right away, and get the viewers invested in the stuff they're doing. I think it puts them in a good way to allow them to succeed quickly.
Gotcha.
I think that's an interesting pick. There you go. He says same, maybe Fraction. There you go. Yeah, I think we all hated what he did to Big E. I think it was terrible.
Look,
terrible.
It was. But I think it was necessary for the New Day to exist now. I think that they had hit a point where just being this upbeat, positive tag team, just 10 years is a long time to keep something going. Hulkamania didn't last that long. You know what I mean? There's just things don't last like they, especially now like they used to.
It's crazy that it lasted as long as it did, honestly.
Yeah. But I think that this is a necessary turn. And I think that there's an eventual, reconciliation where they find another 5 years out of gaining a new set of life, turning babyface again at one point. But I think that this is a necessary point in their story to make the power of positivity more selfish for them.
It was necessary for them to keep going.
Yeah.
Like if they weren't gonna turn heel, they definitely should have broken up.
Right.
At least if you were just gonna have one turn heel, yeah, break them up. But if you're gonna turn them both heel, that I don't hate it, because I've been very firm on this. I'm so sick of hearing people say they want the New Day to break up when all they ever do is complain that they break up tag teams. Like, get your mind, pick one or the other, everybody. And I'm glad that they're sticking together, because I don't think Woods has. I think he'd have to go to NXT to have something meaningful in a singles run at this point. I hate to say that, but again, I'm a big fan of the guy, and I don't know where he'd fit in on the singles roster on WWE right now. And Kofi would just kind of go back to being a job guy. So I'm not mad at seeing them do this. And yeah, I'm intrigued on how they do it.
There's a lot of room. There's a lot more room for upper mobility in the WWE as a babyface than there is a heel right now. And I think that the big heel program, the big heel right now is Gunther. And and then, you got a guy like Drew, who he's on Lockett's being, that number 2 guy. And then just
Judgment Day.
Right. And then I was going to say, as you go down the line with, acts like the Judgment Day, and, you're going, and looking at people like Bronson Reed and the Bloodline,
about to be there.
Right. Possibly, they might they're going to make him go full blown that way, or make him a tweener. KO is, now just turned. I think it's, you're getting to a point where being a top babyface is a lot harder, and I think Kofi has every makings of being able to slide into that slot when needed. But right now, it's necessary for them to just let's see what they look like on the other side. Let's see them be heels. Let's see the New Day, because we only saw it very briefly, and then they got so over it was undeniable, and they had to turn them back. So, and when they were amazing. And look, I think we're at a point now where 3 weeks ago, if you had told me the New Day are going to win the tag titles, I would have been like, why? Okay, cool, I guess.
Yeah,
and now it's like,
stats.
Right. And now if the idea comes along, I'm like, ooh, okay, that's interesting. And that's all it took. I think the WWE did a great job there. And look, there are people out there who say that they hate 25-minute promo segments. When they're done like that and it's done right, there's nothing more pro wrestling in the entire world than what they did. And that's what pisses me off. When people sit there and tell me how to enjoy my pro wrestling, because that is more pro wrestling than anything else in the entire world. And yeah, it was like a 20-minute promo segment, and every single second of it counted. And it was amazingly well done.
We were talking about this at the Thankful show, where I watched wrestling, but I was never invested in wrestling until I saw the segment where Jake the Snake sick the snake on Macho Man. That was the hook that gets me invested. And that's the kind of stuff that makes wrestling what it is. If you just go out there just doing match, it's just athletics. And yes, it's very spectacular. It's very entertaining. I'm not saying it's not, but it doesn't hook you.
Right.
It just doesn't. So, and that's what this segment was so damn good. And what's crazy is, to me, this is my opinion on it. It's probably not everybody's, but it wasn't even the best segment on Raw. Because the opening segment on Raw,
everything blended so well into each other.
It started with one man, then two man, and then 3, 4, like, bringing in Roman. Man, I did not realize that was 25 minutes until it went to commercial after that, and I checked my phone, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, same here. Same here. I was like, oh, crap. This isn't a 3-hour Raw. Damn. Holy crap.
Yeah, that was I was like, man, this is going to suck for the rest of the show. The rest of the show is going to hurt because it's only 2 hours right now. And then, hey, the rest of the show didn't suck. It was one of the best shows of the year.
Yeah.
But, man, that was who would you say the MVP of that segment was, the opening segment?
Man, Sami Zayn did some of the best work of his life.
Yeah, I figure everyone would probably think I was going to say Punk, and Sammy killed it.
He was unbelievable.
This is why he is a top guy, and this is why I get so like, I have to check myself. I'm like, I'm not even going to get into it with these people because they're completely stupid. But when you think Sami Zayn he doesn't belong in the main event scene, this kind of shit is exactly why he does. He held the glue together. Once it started to you had your brawl. Usually that's the end of a segment. And the glue, he brought it all back in. And it was like, oh, deep cuts. Fantastic work.
Yeah.
And what that segment did for me is blow WrestleMania season wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Wide open. Like, and
Look,
for us to have two segments that went on as long as they did and be that damn good on the same show is eating good. Hey, it ain't HBK that was cooking this week, baby. It was Triple H's kitchen, because that was an amazing show on Raw.
I'll put it to you this way. There has been almost a lock for the past, I don't know, like 10 years, I feel, of we knew exactly what the main event of WrestleMania was going to be. We knew it.
You knew who the people in the main event scene were. It was always the same damn people.
And even when it did change, even when we got Cody for 2 years, now, and we breathed new life into the main event scene, we knew it was going to be Cody. Like a couple of years ago, we knew at 39 it was going to be Cody, and then we knew that it was undeniable that Cody was going to win, and and make that a 40.
To be fair, a lot of people didn't know that. They were stupid and they thought it was going to be The Rock.
Either way,
The Rock did weasel his way into the first main event, but it was like, no, people, if you claim you pay attention, you're clearly not, because it's going to be Cody and Roman.
Right.
So,
but
sometimes it pays to be stupid, I guess.
So but my point being is that even before that, we kind of, you kind of knew, like, all right, it was going to be, you kind of figured out just going to win and go on to face Roman. I don't think everybody really knew Bryan was going to get involved the way he did, but we kind of knew that's what, like, where they were going. We knew all the big, every big title match forever. I have no idea what the main event of WrestleMania is. I don't know who faces Gunther for the title. I have no idea who faces Cody for the title right now. I am perplexed. And you know what?
It's amazing.
I love it. It's so good.
That's what makes you want to tune in week after week.
It's because it's unpredictable now.
Yeah.
And I don't, this is where like I get mad when people are sitting there and saying things like WWE isn't, it's only hot right now because it's of the brand. No, it's hot because it's good.
That's silly. That's
It's
silly.
good.
Why is the NBA hot right now then?
Right, exactly.
It has a brand. It's not hot because it's not good.
Right.
Get off that crap, man. People are stupid with their little dumb takes.
But that's the way people talk, and then they're like, "Oh, it's people don't critique it." Yeah, you want to know why? Because if I'm enjoying the majority of it, I'm not thinking about the part that I didn't enjoy because I'm enjoying the majority of the show, and that's the difference right now between WWE and AEW. People are watching AEW and they're not enjoying the majority of the show because they're coming up with things that they have issues with. With WWE, we're sitting here, we're watching it, and the majority of its fan base is everything comes up smelling like roses, except for Diva stands, but they're crazy.
So, I wanted Rock. Hey, I get why people want to see it. I don't.
Yes,
I want to see it.
I want to see it
just
too.
Wasn't the time to do it
Right.
because Cody was undeniable, and that's my thing. And I'm not even a Cody fan. Like I'm on record multiple times. I am not a Cody fan.
You wanted Sammy more than Cody the first year.
What's that?
You wanted Sammy way more than you did Cody the first year.
Oh, I did so bad. So I get it. I want to see it. It just has to be the right time. I think WrestleMania 41, you could do it. I think that would be a good time to do it. You don't have to have them going after Cody's title. Give Cody someone different, like I don't know, Randy Orton. But and then maybe a returning Rumble. Man, let me tell you something. That would be insanely awesome. I just don't think it's ever going to happen.
I would love that, but that would be.
I don't think Daniel Bryan ever wrestles in a WWE ring ever again.
Yeah, I don't think he wrestles a lot more in an AEW ring than what we've seen.
We'll see him wrestle maybe 5 more matches total, I would say.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't think he completely goes away, but I don't think it's more than 20.
The next time you see him, he'll just be doing the Hall of Fame. I don't see him wrestling again. So while we're talking about WrestleMania stuff, next week's show, we're going to do a top 5 list because there's no pay-per-view. So
no.
We're going to do top 5.
Main event coming up.
I don't think we do a prediction on that one.
We should do some predictions.
We can throw them in.
Yeah.
We'll do a double feature next week. I want to do top 5 Mania matches that we want to see based on the booking that's going on and where things we think could lead to. Don't give me dream match stuff. I want to see top 5 Mania matches next week.
Okay.
For our list. And then we'll also throw in some predictions for main event.
Sure.
Because right now I think it's 3 matches. It'll be a 5-match card, like a pay-per-view. I love those things.
Thank you. That's the other thing I'm starting to get tired of people like talking about. But the other thing is that people talk about the difference between WWE and AEW. The difference is that I have to pay for AEW's pay-per-views. When AEW becomes a max subscription and I don't have to pay, well, actually, I still do have to pay. It's just going to be at a discounted rate, which might not be something that I'm going to, may or not be.
We don't know how that's going to work yet, do we?
Right. So I have to wait and see. But let's just say that in a perfect world, I don't have to pay a dime extra for it because I already have my max subscription. Right. I'm watching every AEW pay-per-view. There's like no way that I'm not going to. Like I'm absolutely going to tune in every week, or every month. But conversely, right now I don't have the money that I'm willing to spend $60 on watching their show. There have been times where I have, and I've gone to friends' houses and we've split it, and I had friends come over to watch an AEW pay-per-view here. I'm not sitting here and saying that I haven't watched them, but it's not 100% guarantee for me to watch them now.
They're not hot commodities.
Right. Now, when the WWE puts on a PLE, I am parked there no matter what time it is because with the subscription that I already have to the Brooklyn Nine-Nine network that they call, which Peacock is to me, the Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Parks and Rec network, with that subscription comes the WWE portion of that as well. So I'm going to be there for every single one because why not?
It's ease of access. It makes it so much better.
When AEW does that for me, I'll do the same thing for them, but we're not there right now. And by the way, with their business model, it makes sense that we're not there right now. WWE can afford to have a premium live event and AEW can't afford to not run pay-per-views because they need the revenue for it. It makes sense. It's just that's a huge difference. And that's the reason why I'm more inclined to watch a PLE than I am a PPV.
And if you want his business, these are the things he would like to see get done for him to give you his business. Hence why money matters, everybody.
Right. Numbers matter. You know, like you could sit there and say it's not indicative of the quality of programming. And sure, that's true. But it's also indicative of what people are willing to put their money towards to pay to watch. And if they're not doing that, then your product could be the greatest in the world, but it's not connecting.
So to answer this, Harry, why is every pay-per-view 5 hours long and 12 matches over 20 minutes? So they have cut back on their matches, which I have appreciated.
Yes.
They don't have the 12 match cards anymore, unless you watch 0 Hour. And if you're watching 0 Hour, that's on you. Because you could watch that any time of the week. You don't have to watch it that night.
Right.
But the AEW pay-per-views, they have chopped the number of matches down. I feel like they're at like 9 at this point, which is fine. I'm good with that. But the reason it's still long is because, like you said, they're over 20, 25 minutes. And it's just 25-minute match after 25-minute match after 25-minute match after 25 minutes. That 2 matches is almost an hour long. So that's why they're that long. And they've started including video packages and things. And if you do that, you kind of have to cut some of the time off matches. That's what we would like to see. But that's not what they're doing. Do what you do. I'll tune in when I can. I'll cut it off when I'm tired. And that's how it's going to be.
Right.
Do what you do. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to try my best not to just rip into them anymore about it. Like, do what you do. But don't expect me to be along for the ride if it's not entertaining.
And you know, there are points where I am entertained by watching an AEW pay-per-view, and a lot of it is because I'm watching it with people. And I'm not just sitting there by myself. WWE, though, I usually watch them 99.9% of the time alone. It's just me. And man, I'm having the time of my life.
I agree with this 100%, Harry, but he has a broken foot, so it's going to be a minute.
Yeah.
I stand by. He had the best match. Him and QT had the best match at Full Gear.
I believe
Suck it, Ospreay.
But that's the other. You know what? Can let's have a little bit of? We got 10 minutes. Let's have a little bit of a fun conversation. Did you see what Ricochet had said? That's been causing the internet to have a little bit of a stir. I wanted to hear your take on that.
It sounded very arrogant. I know the dude's incredible. I know he's incredible in the ring. I'm never gonna take that away from him. I don't think he's the hot shit that he thinks he is. And no, this isn't a WWE AEW thing because I was never really a big fan of Ricochet in WWE either. I thought he was one of a kind in WWE. So when he did the things he was doing, it was like, oh, that's cool. He's very talented, insanely talented. One of the most talented in-ring guys I've ever seen. It's unreal. But the way he worded it just sounded arrogant to me. Now, if it's part of him doing a little heel turn, he's in character, and that's part of it. Cool. You're doing a good job, Ricochet, which is something I never thought I'd say with him doing talky because he's not good at that. But yeah, it just came across like because his words were there would be no AW without me, and then he had to kind of walk it back a little bit. And I get the sentiment of it.
I actually don't think he's wrong at all.
I think he's wrong.
Because here's the thing: there's a point where the AEW style that we know it, a lot of it was taken from those early Ricochet versus Will Ospreay matches that had these really crazy sequences that we hadn't seen since RVD and Jerry Lynn, where they were doing like these reversals and counters, and they knew each other so well, and they were doing, and like that was like the first 6 minutes of their match, and they would just counter and and come up with this reversal that's crazy, and that's all that you see right now across the board. And that's not even in just AEW. We're seeing it in the women in AEW on NXT. Sol Ruka and Kalani Jordan did something similar to that. This is something that's now been ingrained, a style that's been ingrained in pro wrestling, and that was a lot of it based off of Will Ospreay versus Ricochet. So a lot of people like to give Will Ospreay a lot of credit for all the stuff that he does, and stuff like that. If you're going to credit Ospreay, you have to credit his dance partner. And Ricochet was the other person on the other side of the ring doing just the same as impressive stuff with him.
All right, I'm about to just blow up on this. No, absolutely not.
Wow. Okay.
First and foremost, let me tackle the first thing he said, that he had to walk back. There'd be no AEW without Ricochet. Look, I do not like the Young Bucks. I don't like them at all. They are a big reason, and it's not just because they are the ones that went to Tony Khan and started the whole thing. They're wrestling, and I'm pretty sure they were around before Ricochet was.
They're all around at that same time, which is why when he
Young
went
Bucks
back,
blew up. Young Bucks blew up before.
It's like that whole PWG thing. He was right there for it.
He was there having matches with him and everything. But the Young Bucks blew up way before him, to the point where they had merchandise in Hot Topic, which was a WWE thing only.
Sure. No, I agree that. I agree there.
Kenny Omega.
Yes.
He's not copying Ricochet. If anything, that's not happening.
No, but he did give specifically those three people very much credit as well.
Also, if we're going to look at the way Ricochet and Ospreay wrestle and all the other people who kind of mimic what they do, what would you say? They didn't invent that wrestling. They took it from luchador wrestling and just kind of added a little spin to it. So they evolved it.
It's a big combination of lucha libre, and like I said, I giving credit to where it's due. It's a lot of RVD and Jerry Lynn from ECW, where they were doing things like that, where not other people.
Let me make his statement a little bit better. There would be no AEW if there was no RVD. Well, that's the more accurate statement. And I'll go as far as to say, hey, what is the least interesting part of AEW right now? The part that we're talking and complaining about. The fact that everyone is wrestling that damn style and those matches are going on the way they're doing.
I agree. I'm not going to disagree.
Moxley's interesting. Darby's interesting. Hey, people love Eddie Kingston, and he's not doing any of that stuff.
No, look, I'm not going to disagree.
So
I'm not going to disagree because you're right there. But
right here, I'm with Harry. That was arrogant and wrong. Now that I've sat there and unleashed my opinions on it, because he is so wrong.
I disagree. I think that's
so wrong.
I think you're right in a lot of ways, but I also think that Ospreay and Ricochet popularized this style of wrestling.
But that style of wrestling is kind of what's killing AEW, and it wasn't what AEW was founded on. AEW was founded on.
It was kind of founded on that, though. It was that indie style, that PWG style, which is what they kind of. And like I said, not just Ricochet and not just Ospreay. Obviously, that all again comes from other guys like we did. Say Adam Cole. I didn't say Adam Cole, but I will say Adam Cole now. But Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and there are people like Kevin Owens and El Generico.
And the Briscoes.
The Briscoes, absolutely. Some of the obviously Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness. People from the Ring of Honor too. Yes, that was,
Tyler
Black. A lot of that stuff was derived from that and picked apart from that style too.
Okay. To me, Ricochet saying what he said would be very similar to Rey Mysterio coming out and saying, the reason Monday Nitro is around is because of me. Because luchador wrestling was
I kind of agree.
Was a huge part of Nitro's And hey, this isn't even the deadbeat dad fan speaking. The fan of calling him a deadbeat speaking. Like, that would be blasphemous for him to say that, because
I kind of agree, though.
True, it would be true.
But it's not. It's also not false either, because that's what got a lot of people staying to watch WCW. Like, yes, the NWO was cool, but once the NWO started falling apart and it was like ridiculous, people were like, "Well, at least they have the cruiserweights."
People stopped giving a shit, and that's when people stopped watching WCW.
But the people who stayed around did stay around for the cruiserweights.
So, and the people weren't going to tune in to watch the cruiserweights. And so Scott,
I did.
But it was that brought the people in.
But that's what we're talking about. Though. We're talking about the sickos right now. That's who we're talking. We're talking about the biggest wrestling nerds in the world, and that's who he placated to his entire career. Is those people.
I think he gave himself way too much credit. I think my stance is way more correct. Rob Van Dam is the reason AW exists.
Look, you're never going to get this.
And Jerry Lynn. I won't knock Jerry Lynn on this. He was clearly RVD's best dance partner, and those were the matches that those kids were watching and said, I'm going to do that stuff. And we'll go ahead and throw Canyon in there too, just because I want to throw Canyon in whenever I can. The Bucks were big fans of Canyon, and that's probably the coolest thing they've ever done. I want to talk about the Continental Classic. I don't know if you've followed anything of it so far. Are you
a little bit
aware? Okay,
I'm very
list off the
upset.
names.
I'm very upset that Juice Robinson is no longer eligible.
Well, I could go off on that one, but I won't. I'll list the names off. We have the Gold League: Claudio, Brody King, Will Ospreay, Darby Allin, Commander, and Ricochet. Blue League, we have Kyle Fletcher, Shelton Benjamin, Daniel Garcia, Kazuchika Okada, the Beast Mortis, and Mark Briscoe. So, first question for you is there anybody on this Continental Classic that isn't in it that you wish would have made the cut?
I don't understand why Buddy Matthews wasn't put in this instead of Commander. I just don't understand it. He's going to be like, I get it. I know that there's a fascination with it and everything like that. But the other thing is that wasn't AEW you're going to earn everything you get here. And his Commander won a match in like 600 matches. Like that's my thing.
Not on TV. I'm not going to go check Cage Match because I'm sure he's won something somewhere else, but not on TV. I don't think he has.
And that's
probably a 6-man.
Right. And perception is reality here. And the perception is that he's the name that sticks out like a sore thumb. And I think that there were like 15 other more deserving people that could have been put in his place.
And Buddy Matthews has been getting cheered. He was wrestling Adam Cole, and they were cheering for Buddy.
Yes.
Like, you have to push those kind of people.
Right.
That's what the sickos want to see, and you took it from them. That's dumb.
Feed them.
But, yeah, Buddy Matthews is a good shout. That seems to be a popular one. I will say I really wanted to see Anthony Bowens get a shout in this.
That would have been great, too. Absolutely.
Teasing the breakup, and it could have been used as a
we see how well it went for Max Caster.
It could have been used for that, and it would have been able to give us a glimpse of what Anthony Bowens could do on his own against some of the best in the company. Yeah. And it would have been great. I think he would have been a much better freaking pick than Commander to replace. I love Juice Robinson being it because I love Juice Robinson, but
right.
I don't know who I would take out of the original line. Probably Ospreay. I think Ospreay should have sold his injuries a little bit longer.
I'm not because
he's not good enough. Clearly, he should be in it because he's good. But I wanted to see him sell the injuries a little bit more, and I thought Anthony Bowens would have been great. They are pushing Kyle. Yeah, I think the kid has it. I wasn't on board with him until this heel turn. I think he has it. He reminds me, and I don't like saying this because it's such a big stamp of approval, but he does remind me a lot of just a more athletic Randy Orton. He does. I just see it in him.
I'm still not there yet. Some other people.
I can understand. I can understand. I didn't click on me at first either, but the more I see him, the more I'm just like, man, this kid has it. So much so that, and this isn't a knock, but if he was to go to WWE, I don't think he'd get lost in the shuffle at all. I think he could make it.
That's huge. Yeah.
I only say that because in AEW you can get over just being really good in the ring. In WWE, It's not that simple. There has to be multiple layers to what you're doing, and I think he has those multiple layers.
I agree.
Or Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly's not in it because he's in a storyline, no matter how stupid the storyline is, with Adam Cole and MJF. Ricky Starks would have been exactly who I replaced Juice Robinson with. 100%.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Fix your wrongs. Like, correct your wrongs right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here you go. Ray Phoenix. Yeah, that's never going to happen. Max Caster. Not after what Swerve did to him. Bowens. Yeah, my choice. Jack Perry. He's probably going to be gone for a minute after losing the title. So, but yeah. So now that you have the list, so far Claudio's 2-0. He should be 1-1. I'm so mad that Brody King lost last night.
I'm surprised that Claudio won both of his matches, to be completely honest.
Darby just always loses.
Yeah, he really does.
It's sad, but he's always over. So
I know. It doesn't hurt him. It doesn't hurt him, but I mean, eventually, he was the number one contender twice at one point, and took
it away from him.
Yeah,
But yeah, so Kyle Fletcher is 2-0 and Claudio is 2-0, and then we have Brody King 1-1, Shelton Benjamin 1-1, Will Ospreay's 1-0. They gave Commander Juice Robinson's loss, so he's 0-1. Darby, Ricochet, Mark, and Beast Mortis are all 0-1, and then Daniel Garcia. Oh, Mark Briscoe is 0-1 too. I read that wrong. But Daniel Garcia and Kazuchika Okada both have a tie, so that's where we're at. So with that said, who do you think walks out of here with the Continental Championship?
I'm going to go.
Who do you think in the finals? And then who do you think wins it?
I think it's going to be Ospreay and Okada, and I think Okada's going to win.
So you think Okada's going to surpass Fletcher?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Interesting here. I'm going to say this is tough.
Because I want to say Fletcher and Ospreay because I feel like that's the natural payoff of what it is. But I feel like in AEW, you never get the natural payoff of what it's supposed to be, you know? So, because I feel like they always want to try to stretch it a little bit longer, which I'm not against. I think that we should wait a little bit longer to get another Fletcher versus Okada match.
Yeah.
Fletcher versus Ospreay match.
I don't think Ospreay should even be in it because he should be selling what
agreed
to him.
Agreed. So, but you know what they're going to do is that he's going to overcome all those injuries to be the guy who eventually wins it.
I can't believe I'm going to do this. I think it's going to be Ospreay and Fletcher.
Okay.
I don't see anybody coming out of the Gold League other than Ospreay, unless they're going to push Claudio that way, which I don't know why you do. And it's not a knock on Claudio, not a knock on Claudio, everybody. But yeah, Claudio.
Because if they wanted to use him the right way, they would have already.
Yeah. And doing a Claudio Kyle Fletcher finals doesn't really make sense.
I mean,
Garcia's a champion though, so that ain't happening. He shouldn't have been in this thing. That's who I'd have replaced with.
I don't like that he's the champion and he's in it too.
I know they did it with Eddie Kingston, but why are you rehashing things?
Right. That's why I think Okada makes the most sense.
I'm going Ospreay and Fletcher.
Okay, fair enough. I like it. I like when we disagree. It's more interesting this way.
But I'm one of the people who actually like. I do like the Continental Classic because it's one of the times where I can watch the random matchups they do and just be cool with it because they're fighting for something.
Right, because there's stakes. Right. It's the same thing as like when WWE, they've been doing these triple threat matches. Yeah. There's stakes. I love it. Yeah. Give me stakes.
There's stakes, and that makes the world of difference. So with that said, is there anything else you would like to hit on before we go? Oh, we got Dale up in the chat. He says, hi, guys. First time, long time. Do you think that Paul London was the guy who planted the bomb in Vince Limo? You know, I've had that theory forever, and no one's ever agreed with me. So thank you, Dale. 100%. It clearly was Paul London.
It was John Morrison, and he won't tell me any differently.
This guy.
I don't know why.
Fucking guy. One more week of the show with no tidy, unfortunately. Ooh, but the closer we get to the new year, the closer we get to having tidy back sooner. So
and Raw on Netflix.
It's bittersweet. It's like, I know he's not here, and I know why he's not here, and I feel so bad, but we're getting close, and I need him back.
We're almost there.
Miss Tidy.
We do.
So, with that said, we're under an hour. How about them? How about them apples, baby?
Perfect.
Let's see. I'm shocked Fletcher. I'm not. Fletcher should have beat Shelton, and he shouldn't have had to cheat to do it, bro. And he thinks Fletcher and Ospreay too. Yeah, that sucks. I don't want to.
I feel like it's predictable. That's why I'm going with Okada, because I feel like it's just a little bit more unpredictable.
Yeah, AEW is predictable, though.
Yeah, they can be sometimes.
Sometimes. Hey, my buddy Sai, he predicted every single match, I think, in 2022 for AEW. TV matches, pay-per-view matches, every match. He predicted them, and he got 5 wrong all year. That's how predictable.
All right, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, with that, next week's show, we will be doing a double feature. So, it'll probably go a little bit over an hour. I hope not too much, but we're going to be doing a positively top 5 list for WrestleMania matches that we think are going to be happening based on the changes and booking that has been going on, as well as doing the Saturday night main event, a show I am super excited. Did you get tickets for that?
I did not, and I'm really
son
upset.
of a.
Honestly,
You're missing Gunther and Finn Balor, dude.
Do you have any idea that when they announced that match, how mad I was? I looked at ticket prices immediately. I looked at ticket prices. You can ask my fiance. I was like, I'm thinking about going to this. Oh no, wait, they're still pretty damn expensive, and I don't really feel like driving.
We're clowning on Dom the other night, bro.
Long Island's a decent drive too from where I am in Staten Island. It's a decent drive.
It's Finn Balor in a world title match, dude.
How many
times do you have the opportunity to see that live?
Not many, but also at the same time, I don't really also want to go there and watch them lose either. So
it's gonna be an amazing. They haven't wrestled one-on-one yet.
I don't think they have. I can't wait. I cannot wait. And it's literally, those are my 2 favorite wrestlers in the WWE right now.
Hey, Dale, are you going? If you're still in the chat, Dale, are you going? Because I know you up there too.
But yeah, It's Gunther and Finn Balor are my two favorite wrestlers in WWE. It hurts my soul that I can see it live, and it doesn't make sense. It logistically doesn't make sense for me to drive all the way out there.
Did they have a one-on-one match? I'm gonna look this up real quick.
I feel like they might have. I feel like he's right. But yeah, this is definitely obviously going to be the most high-profile match. So it's really upsetting that I did have the chance to see it live. But, I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, stuff happens. And there were more important things in life that were going on than me getting tickets. So
they did. I don't remember it, so I'm assuming it was a non-finish or something of the nature. It was probably doing that Damian Priest Gunther nonsense. But, yeah, I was heartbroken when Dom got screwed out of the title on Monday. That was upsetting for me. But boy, did Dom ball. He busted.
He did.
He busted that man open.
He did.
Dom he's evolving.
He did.
He's evolving. He's at the second level of the Pokemon evolution right now. He's going to evolve to the third evolution, and then by the time he becomes a babyface, it's the Mega Evolution, and Dirty Daddy Dom is going to run the WWE for the next 15 years, partners. So, yeah, that's what we're doing next week. Top 5 Mania matches that we think are going to happen and main event predictions just for the fun of it. It was the go home for separate. So, yeah, right before he faced Damian, and I'm assuming Damian probably got involved in there. So, we're going to get we're going to get a real match from the two now. So, I'm excited for that. Man, this show is going to be awesome. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. As always, it's much appreciated. And Albert, do you have anything you got to say, plug or anything before we go?
No, just no. See you guys later.
Yeah, see you guys later. And I will be doing Friday Nitro reviews over at the Friday Nitro Reviews channel tomorrow morning with Nick. We're going to be doing the second episode of Monday Nitro. I just watched it earlier today. That was actually pretty fun too. So I'm enjoying this little journey we're taking. And then also I might be over at Wrestling Legion on Sunday. Not 100%. No, I won't. I'm way too busy this weekend. But you should go watch them anyway because they're fun. So with that, thank you guys. We'll be back same time, same day next week. And Toodles is the call out line. That's what we're doing.